tired of buying number ones. That's bullshit.
I mean, I'm kind of right there with you. Like, I mean, like, I was enticed by whenever they hit the reset button. What was that, back in like 2015, 2014, 15 or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
I was enticed by it, especially, like you had, Captain America Sam Wilson, you had Captain America Steve Rogers, and like you had all these other, like, kind of like these new starting points. It was after, the secret wars thing. And it was cool. And then they go back to Legacy, and so like I was reading Cable at the time because they kind of brought that back, and like I don't feel like Cable was one of those books that really deserved a Legacy numbering. Like, especially when you go from like issue 6 to 151, it just, like, it shit does not make sense at all. Like, I feel like they should just, like, if this is what they're wanting to do, they should start at a number one and, like, have like a little subtitle to it, like.
They're not doing it because they figured that the person's going to go out here. They're going to buy the book because of the artist, and the artist is going to do whoever this many variant covers, because that's what's happening.
Now, those lenticular covers are fucking sweet. I really like the lenticulars.
I mean, there's no problem with them, but it's just like, you just can't keep doing this shit, rebooting the book. Like, they're coming out here with the Immortal Hulk now. Not incredible.
Well, I mean, like, that all is kind of playing into like what's going on in the Avengers book right now. And like I feel like that makes sense. Like, I feel like that's, it's not like reading Captain America, like we're due for like issues 800 through, well, you said in July they're going to refresh it. So what, 802, 803, something like that. And then kind of pedaling back, or 700, excuse me. And then kind of pedaling back and then like doing a number one again. Like, that to me doesn't make sense. If they, like, if for whatever reason they wanted to split the books and have the characters, doing that, like, cool. But like like another thing I'm kind of concerned with is like Tales of Suspense. Like, they brought that back under the Legacy thing. They started at number 100, and so far, dude, like that's probably my favorite Marvel read right now. And I'm reading Avengers, Tales of Suspense, Captain America, Weapon X, Cable, and I think that's it as far as like the Marvel. I was reading a lot more Marvel, but I trimmed some fat where I felt it was needed. But yeah, like I don't know, like I just don't think like especially for other books that are going on right now, like like Weapon X, with its Legacy numbering, like it's still numbered how it needs to be. But I mean, if they do some killer shit like with the lenticular covers, like I have Avengers 678 or 679, and it's got the lenticular cover, and it's like, I don't know, it's shit's really cool. Like, I've always liked that stuff. I ended up buying I want to say it was like 697 of Captain America whenever they started the Legacy numbers after the Secret Empire stuff. It had like it was homaging that old Iron Man cover from, I want to say it was from the 90s. But anyway, it was just super cool. And like the Cable cover, they got Todd McFarlane, I think, to come back and redo his cover of the New Mutants. And I don't know, man. It was like that's again another one of my like favorite covers. I love covers, so like that's my thing.
I just went to their website just to kind of get a look, because I haven't really read any Marvel books in a while. So yeah, I see the Legacy numbering and stuff like that, but I just don't know what's really going on with the storylines and stuff. So I know Peter Parker was Spider-Man again after the whole Superior Spider-Man thing with Doc Ock. Like, I know that's been done for a while, but everybody else, like, I'm not up on what's going on. See, so it says Marvel 2018, learn more. So this is probably where they got their outlook. Spider-Man front.
Hey, Gregors.
Oh yeah, see, so Avengers #1. Yeah.
Oh my God, really? They're gonna.
So Thor, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, the big three of the Avengers are reunited at last, just in time to save the world from total annihilation.
I know they were doing
having-
the Countdown to Infinity thing, and I don't know if I'm going to pick that up or not. Like, I know
Yeah,
it's got regular Wolverine in it, but
Black Panther number
I'm
one,
having
Venom number one. What's up, Greg?
I'm having some serious stomach issues. That's why I only have about an hour, because that's about how long I think I can go before I need to go. So if I'd have to jump off, like, abruptly, no hard feelings, but there's Walter. That scared me. I was like, what the? Ah! Yeah, Kit had like a stomach thing last week, and like
she
over
brought
the
it home.
weekend, and now I'm feeling kind of not so good. So, yeah. Man, I ain't read any fucking comics the last 2 weeks. Like, nothing came out, really. I only read like 3 books.
I was going to say, did you get around to reading Lost Light or Optimus Prime?
Hold on a second. I was having a little medicine. Well, I read Lost Light before we got on last week, if you'll recall, or last time, if you'll recall. I don't think I read Optimus Prime. I can't remember what happened in that one. I feel like I did.
Okay, so Lost Light, like, it was weird. Like, February was weird. We got 2 issues of Lost Light and we got 2 issues of Optimus Prime, I think. Which was nice. Like, I wish they would do that shit way more often, but I think they're kind of like catching up.
I remember Lost Light. But I can't remember. The last Optimus Prime, I think, was when they had a little story time with Alpha Trion.
Oh man, you're way back. Then
yeah, I'm way behind on those Transformers books too, so I'll be catching up. I have them all and stuff, and I'll acquire the latest ones, Dakota, that you said just came out, and hopefully by next show I'll be all caught up.
Hold on, I can tell you what the last Optimus Prime I read was. Just bear with me here.
The story time with Alpha Trion, like that's probably one of the stronger books in the entire like run of Optimus Prime.
Yeah, the one I'm talking about though wasn't that long ago. I mean, it couldn't have been more than like last issue or issue before. Hold on.
I know there was a setup like right now we're in the storyline called The Falling, where Onyx, also known as like a weird Deathsaurus looking dude, showed up, or like he darkened the sky somehow, or some kind of crazy, mystical.
Yeah, they were debating on. It was the one where they made Windblade the boss.
I think that was the the annual for Till All Are One.
Oh, okay. No, I'm seeing it. So the one with the weird eyeball in the sky. So I'm 1 issue behind.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like I think that was like part 1. Like this past issue though, the one that came out last week, was like I normally like I'm normally just like everybody else. Like I fucking can't wait for Robert's next book to come out. But like after reading like these last 2 issues respectively, like Optimus, like I'm more excited to read Optimus Prime than I am Lost Light. And it's been a long time since like that's been a thing, for me. But
I just got my IDW Prime finally yesterday. The one that I ordered back on the 21st of July or January.
The fucking the puzzle box one, right?
No, the Generation Toys one.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
No, yeah.
All right.
I don't need to summon fucking Pinhead with some with some fucking G creation shit. I don't know. He's all right. Like I haven't transformed him yet. I did manage to fuck up one of his antennas. Well, my cat fucked one up, and then I fucked it up worse trying to fix it while I'd been drinking. But it's fine. It makes him look distinguished.
Dude, I got that. I got the Beelzebub.
It's just a little bent.
And that thing fucking broke. like not handling it with like very much like force or anything. The shit broke, and Like, I mean, I kind of have it just like there, but like I've been thinking about getting the Primo Vitalis kit, because just like I feel like if I get the Generation Toy Prime, like I'll be spending more money. I think that way, like overall.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know if the sale's still on because it was kind of indefinite. Like they said it was going to end in like 3 days, and then it kept going. But Show Z store had him a Megatron for $100. Well, 109 shipped.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, so like that Megatron, like having handled him, like I don't think he's a $160 figure, but I think he's $109 ship figure. And the Prime's pretty cool. He had some loose stuff out of the box, but everything is screws for the most part. And his hips are a little loose, but he comes with replacements because I guess this is like a second run. So, I mean, it doesn't affect anything. Like if you pick it up and you try to make him like kick out, like his leg will fall down with like minimal effort, but like he's not like flopping all over the place. And like the arm panels don't tab very well.
That bomber design, I always liked that look from the comics. Wish he would have rocked it longer.
I
agree.
He would give us a proper Chug one. Like I know everyone's on the Masterpiece kick, but I'm still a Chug guy. Like, and I'm probably gonna end up getting that one, Greg. The one that you got. What was it? Generation Toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because like I kind of have like a little Megatron shelf thing going, and I feel like it should it belongs next to my MP36. But
see, I actually enjoyed the deluxe one.
I mean, I like it.
Hasbro.
Don't get me wrong, but like, it wasn't the right size.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It should have been a Voyager.
Yeah,
A Voyager at least. Agreed.
I'd be fine with a little bit of dick cancer, oversizing it. I'm surprised, like I didn't even see any of them oversized.
That deluxe class one is the one I spent a little extra money on to get the Takara version. The
Dude,
2-pack with the Orion pack, so just so you could get the purple panel lining.
Dude, yeah, worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Didn't the Hasbro one have purple?
Nope.
It wasn't as well. It did, but it wasn't as vibrant.
You sure?
Yeah, like I know, like and it wasn't necessarily panel lining. It was the parts of it that were that kind of translucent.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Purple. Yeah, like it showed through in some areas, but like the Takara one, like it was pretty much every panel line was colored in.
Yep.
Yeah, the Generation Toys has the lining, and then there's a lot of clear, like translucent purple plastic in that figure. Yeah. And my favorite part about these two Generation Toys figures, do you hear me echoing?
No.
Something like I'm on a fucking walkie-talkie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I did hear. Yeah, I did hear that.
See, I don't hear the echo.
Oh, see, I don't know what that is. Is that coming from somebody? Is it coming from somebody else? Is someone not having their like headphones? Okay.
Here, let me mute. Let me mute, and you keep talking and see if you can hear it.
Well, let's just pretend like it never happened, like domestic violence.
I like that. Yeah.
The
South.
My favorite part. Oh, I hear it again now.
I hear someone checking out at
beeping,
like Kroger.
Okay, so for real this time, I think my favorite part about these figures is they come with the batteries already installed.
Oh, that's nice. That's something that needs to happen more often.
But I'm gonna have to take Prime's head apart and put a piece of foil in there because the LED is bright enough that it shines through the plastic.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But if I put a piece of foil in the top of the head, it'll block it. Plus, it'll refract the light more. It'll actually make the eyes brighter. But I just have to fucking do it.
That's some smart thinking there, Greg.
Does that figure have the Matrix gimmick?
Yes, but it doesn't light up. But he does have the Matrix, yeah. It's just the eyeballs. The eyeballs light up. Well, I did SGU last night, and I was sitting at the table, and I had Prime just standing there looking all badass. I was fucking with him the whole time. And my cat was like, oh, I'm going to headbutt this thing. And it went tumbling into my lap, and one of the antenna bent. And it had a stress mark, but it didn't break. It just had a stress mark. And I couldn't find... Oh, wait, the cops are here. No, Kitlin got some cupcakes and got me some ice creams. Oh, you didn't get any cupcakes? But I couldn't. I woke up like 3 a.m. and I couldn't get back to sleep for a little bit. It was really bothering me as stress mark. So, I came downstairs and I couldn't find her hairdryer to take it out, and I wasn't going to wake her up. So I got the fireplace lighter, and I was like trying to be super careful, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit the other side, and it was just like a second too long. So it kind of started to like warble a little bit, but like but it's fine because the way that like it did it, it just looks like it's like he just looks like he's like I don't know. He just looks like bent metal, like warped metal, like he's like been in a battle. So it's actually pretty cool. I'm still gonna try to get a replacement part for it if I can, but I'm honestly happy actually kind of how it looks. So as long as it doesn't break on me, but
well, I was gonna say like just whenever you feel like liquidating it, no, I'll buy it from 60 from you.
You what?
I said I'll buy it for 60 from you.
No. No, I think I'm gonna keep going with this style. And I have a display case at work with nothing in it because I don't know what to put in it. Like from one of the stores that we closed.
Yeah.
Just like a display case, like you put like we had fucking signed helmets and shit in it.
Like you go into like the gas station and you see like bongs and hookahs and shit.
No, it's just like a wooden. No, it's like a wooden cabinet. Like it's more like what video games are in at the store.
Oh,
but
okay,
it's a wooden. Yeah, it's like a light wooden cabinet, and it's got glass shelves.
I'm always a fan
of mirror backing.
I'm always super happy, like locally, whenever like these little progressive smoke shops go under, because I'll stroll in there and like, what kind of display options you got for me? And anyways, like most of the time, it's got like some kind of residue from some kind of vape juice or some shit on it, and like I ended up passing up on it anyways. But
yeah,
it's always nice.
We got a lot of shit. We have Meijer here. It's like Echo Walmart, and one of the stores in town closed, and they went in and bought all the video game displays, and that's what we had in our store in Dayton for like helmets and shit. It was just all video game displays, and there was one with like a TV, so you could put like a TV in there and like turn on like a game, like put a DVD of like some game looping over and over, like a championship game or a basketball game or something.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't have anything to put in there. I was going to put my Gundams in there, but I don't know. And I'm not going to move my Star Wars because I like how my Star Wars is set up. So I think maybe I'll put some oddball Transformers in my office at work.
That'd work. I think that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to get that Prowl, and I need to rebuy the Generation Toys Jazz.
Dude, I'm probably going to end up getting that Prowl. Yeah.
Yeah, Prowl looks really good.
And I feel like he's just at the right size where he could squeeze into a chug display. So
yeah, and you know what though, I did think just in my head, like reading the books and stuff, when they first split, like I thought Prowl would be like a little bit bigger in that Cybertronian form, but I'm fine with his size.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought I was getting that from Justin Christian, but there was some miscommunication, and I guess he ended up sending it to Spiros because I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Like, give me like a little bit like to work out a deal, but I'll take it. And then Spiros messaged him privately and was like, I'll give you money for it right now. And there was a miscommunication. And I was working that day, the day I was like, all right, let's do this deal. So I'm like periodically messaging, but we did it in like a group chat where there's like 20 retarded motherfuckers just posting stupid shit. And
sounds like the stasis lock chat.
I was at the zoo working at an event, and the Wi-Fi wasn't that great, and I didn't have that great of a signal for some reason. So I wasn't seeing all the posts, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So I get a box, and I'm super fucking excited. Like I go to work the day, like it's gonna be there on Monday. I'm super excited, or a Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday. Super fucking excited. And I get my box, and I run to my office, like I'm waiting for the mailman, and I hear the mail's there, and I run to the back, the receiving area, grab my box and run to my office like a crack fiend. I open it up and it's It's that Unique Toys lockdown. And I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, I was like, this thing's fucking.
Saying Greg socks. Like,
Well, I picked it up and I was like, man, this thing's heavy. And so then I thought maybe he just sent the wrong packages out. And I was like, hey, whoever, I messaged in the chat. I was like, hey, whoever bought the lockdown, I think I think you might be getting my Prowl instead. And Spiros was like, you mean my Prowl? And I'm like, wait, what? And then yeah, it was just a mix-up, and I didn't get the messages. And yeah, and I was like, God damn it! But I sold the Prowl in like 10 minutes, or the lockdown, for $110. So.
All right. So you didn't lose anything.
No, I didn't lose anything at all. Actually, I gained a little bit, but at the same time, I don't have a Prowl.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wait until I got Prime to see if I actually wanted to do this. But I mean, I like the way he looks. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go that route.
Nice, man, nice. As far as like what happened in the Optimus, like without spoiling anything,
that's what people say right before they spoil shit.
I think the reason I liked it so much is like there was like like there were some Beast Wars characters in there, like some of my favorite, or one of my favorites really. Like Onyx is like kind of rolling with his entourage, and like Ramulus and T-Rex are a part of that entourage, and I'm like, that that works. I feel like that works, and it was just really cool. Like I feel like kind of how maybe
Lord Dre got him.
Yeah, you'll break it up. You break it up, brother.
Oh, I am.
You were.
Okay, well,
you're better now. You're better now.
Whenever that shit happens, you remember Captain Power? Just real quick, not the. Either of you guys?
I do.
It's been a while. I used to watch it. Yeah, I used to watch it. But
I'm 26, so no.
Remember when like what was his name, Sauron, or the tank guy, like one of the robots? They would digitize the people, and it would sound like that, and they're like, as they're getting like sucked into the fucking gun or whatever.
So I'm digitized. Is this real? Are any of you real? Is it relevant?
Well, no, they were turning humans into like data files and storing. I can't really remember. Like, I don't know if there was a plot. I just remember they killed off like a major character at the end of the first season, and that was like a
name the file that I am Spankmaster V3.
Yeah, you definitely sound like somebody that went to BotCon.
Go ahead though, bro. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
just like I'm kind of worried as how they're gonna present. Like, I feel like they're gonna present Optimus Primal as like, here's a reformatted Optimus Prime, yay! Like, that's my biggest fear right now, is that they're not gonna make them separate characters. Just kind of with how like, how they're kind of presenting everything. But like, dude, the end of that book was just like, it was awesome. Like, Liege Maximo had like his one line in the whole book. Well, not necessarily his one line, but his final line in the book was gangster as fuck, with like everything that had kind of happened there. And like, you see a lot of like self-doubt within Soundwave, and like the choices that he made, and like he was getting really pissed off. Like, I don't know, it was cool, but there was a lot of like the perspective seemed like a lot of regular people watching Gods argue, like Gods is in the primes, because Alpha Trion was there, Optimus was there, Liege Maximo was present, and so was Onyx. But it was really cool. Lost Light, on the other hand, was that was pretty interesting. I figured that whole Scorponok thing would have gone on longer than what it did. Like, I was really expecting Roberts to like drag that out over 3 years like he has everything else. But he didn't. So like, and I'm kind of happy about it. But it was really cool watching Grimlock and the Scavengers kind of like do their thing. And then like, we see what he was using the Cradle for. I don't know if anyone's read it. Like, I don't know.
I'm not caught up, but I'm slightly familiar with what you're talking about, but I'm not completely caught up.
Did you see the pic that I sent you guys with Scorponok? Did you see that?
Yeah, the baby.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that.
Yeah.
that was pretty messed up.
Well, it's like I feel like that Skids. Like I don't think Skids is like dead forever, you know. And like there was that whole story arc with like Nautica trying to bring him back, and all that. But I think like like part of me thinks like, okay, that's Skids. Like, how are we gonna get Skids back? But you know, I could be wrong. I could be getting my hopes up. I thought the dumb robot thing was Skids, and it wasn't.
So that's something you're hoping that they do. You want a storyline where they bring him back?
Yeah, man. Like, dude, Roberts has to chill out with all that fucking George R. R. Martin shit, man. Like, you know, he's killing off way too many fan favorites, and like, it was before like the book was even into its first year. You know, like Tailgate's gone. Well, Skids, you know, he left us at the end of More Than Meets the Eye. But like, I don't know. I'm not feeling. It's only a matter of time before like Ratchet and Drift die, and then like I'll put the book down altogether.
I've heard like the qualities. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to. It's real quick. Just kind of sway your fears on that, Dakota. Didn't they introduce Optimus Primal in the background, at least in one of those issues of what the fuck were they calling it then?
Talking about whenever they were on Eucharis.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think they're like. I don't think they like. I don't think they introduced him like by name or anything. They like he could have been drawn in as like a background character. The only things that the only characters I know they for sure introduced have been Rat Trap, Dinobot, Air Razor, Tigatron, and Cheetor. Waspinator. So, but like, and Cheetor and Dinobot were really like they weren't there. Like they were just in the holiday special, I think, like exchanging gifts. So,
what issue was this?
Well, what part?
One yet you said with Cheetor and Dinobot.
Oh, that was the holidays. The More Than Me. I want to say it was either the More Than Meets the Eye holiday special or the
Oh, okay, that one.
Yeah,
that
from like
got that.
Quite a few. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Jose, what were you saying?
No, like I was saying, like I've heard the quality of the books, like since they ended those original runs and restarted Lost Light and Optimus Prime, like that the quality has been kind of like up and down. So I was going to ask this Coda, like what he thought overall and which one you think is the better book out of the two.
Dude, it's like at this point it's hard to say because like I kind of judge based on like what the most recent issue is, but like overall, both books have definitely had their downs, but both books have definitely had their ups. Like maybe a lot. Like I was a big fan of the first 6 issues of Lost Light. That whole like Functionist universe thing, I thought that was really cool. But then like the 3 or 4 issues that followed it was just kind of like a slump. Like I really didn't give a shit about that. It's set up for what just happened recently, but then it went back up with the Mutineers trilogy. So those 3 issues were fantastic to me. Then these past 3 issues have been kind of slow again, a little more like, you know, sowing some seeds.
Okay.
And it's been cool because like I want to say like last issue of Lost Light we saw like a flashback to like after Scorponok and all the Decepticons that were on Garrus 9, Scorponok and Shockwave. I want to say they had Grimlock in tow, but they ended up running into the DJD. So you got to see that like Tarn was just like playing with his mask, like it's just like some kind of crazy shit like that. I think Greg, I don't know if you talked about it or not for that particular issue. I know someone I talked to talked about it, but
for which one? I'm sorry, I had a voice. I was picking up a voice talking about something being racist as fuck. Okay, no, my YouTube app opened itself, and a video started playing in my ear.
Oh.
And like it was in the background though. And I'm like, what the fuck? I had to go and close everything that wasn't the Hangouts.
Oh, okay.
Which issue was that? I heard something about Tarn with his mask, and then I heard
Lost
racist
Light.
as fuck.
Whenever Tarn was playing with his mask, after like it showed where they like where Shockwave and Scorponok.
Shockwave. Yeah. I read that part. I did read that. I read that part. He's like twirling his mask on his finger. And,
oh yeah, from that last issue.
Yeah. But like so like just like shit like that was fun to read. It was fun to see like how they got off of Garrus 9. You know, it, like kind of like harkening back to probably the best story IDW's ever put out. For me at least, for my personal taste. But then like, you know, seeing in this this current issue of Lost Light where like Tarn made sure Nickel if they didn't survive, like Nickel would have a fighting chance. You know, he recorded something to basically like paralyze and kill, you know, someone who would listen to it, like on her little phone or whatever. So like she's in trouble. Like Grimlock's down for the count. The scavengers are kind of like busy or whatever. So she's there. She's like right in front of Scorponok, and then you know she tosses her phone. She's like, "Here, it's for you," and it's a you know recording of Tarn. So like I don't know, like I thought that shit was really cool, but overall,
I like
it's
Nickel.
kind of
I'm on a Nickel toy.
They're making it. MMC is. I can't wait.
They're making a Nickel?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, they announced her shortly after MMC did. They announced her shortly after they announced the pet.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a prototype at like Wonderfest or something.
Yeah,
or like some con.
So I'm hoping they're not like packaged together because like now I want a nickel for my DJD shelf and I want a nickel for my scavenger shelf. So just double up on those. But yeah, nickel, she's a fucking cool ass little character. But like as far as Optimus Prime goes, the first like that was another one like where the first 6 issues were probably like I enjoyed the shit where it was like they were talking about like what happened in the past. But like the current day stuff, I was like I don't give a shit about it. But then there was an issue where you know it was kind of going on during the first strike stuff, I think, and like the kind of B team like Aileron and like some of the Beast Wars characters and some of the RID characters, like that little team that Prime has on Earth, they were trying to like get Cybertronian weaponry out of like the hands of like humans that didn't want like get off my planet, you space robot. But
get off my planet.
I mean, that's kind of how it was though. Anyway, so like they find out that like Rumble and Frenzy are the ones supplying the weapons, and their hollow matter avatar disguises are Jules and fuck, what's the other guy's name for Pulp Fiction?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Oh, dude, I thought you knew his name. I was like, yes.
No, I just realized there was a Lost Light issue I missed apparently, and I flipped through this. I was like, no, this sounds familiar. And I got to the very last panel, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because you know what that means.
Oh yeah, I know.
You belong to me now.
I like Optimus Prime. It's to me, it's a build-up issue. It's been pretty good. Like a lot of issues a lot of action, I should say. And they brought back my favorite asshole, Prowl, as usual.
Yeah, I forgot. Prowl did make a comeback, and like there were these 2 or 3 issues that kind of played off of that last Dinobots book. I can't remember what it's called. Livio did it. Was
Salvation.
it Salvation?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
He's done a few of them, those one shots.
Yeah, so it played off of Salvation, and it kind of brought back like, where have the throttle bots been for the last decade? So and that was kind of cool. Like, I never got around to reading Salvation. I have it, I just never got around to reading it. So when I read that particular issue, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, so it was just like, whatever. Prowl's back, and he was with Star Drive, which was interesting to see. And that was a cool little multi-part, the Rom versus the Transformers. That was a fun read, I feel, and I'm looking forward to seeing like more of what happens with Star Drive. I'll be honest, Revolutionaries, even though it's not directly like it's not all Transformers, probably the best book last year, like out of the three.
Yeah, but you notice they cancel half of that, right? I mean, you don't see Mask, you don't see.
Well, Mask was getting shoehorned in with G.I. Joe, and Aubrey Sitterson fucked that up. And like I heard Rom and the Micronauts was still going to be going, but like I have not seen the first issue of that yet. I don't know if like maybe my comic shop forgot to put it in with my pools, or if they just canned that altogether, because it was supposed to come out the same time that like Scarlet Strike Force was supposed to come out.
Maybe it didn't get enough pre-orders.
That could very well be, but like I think Rom and the Micronauts respectively were kind of doing all right. I know Rom was doing all right on its own. Micronauts probably not so much.
Yeah, Rom is pretty popular. What was it? He's gone almost 30 years without a comic, I would say. Yeah, over 30. So did Micronauts.
But anyways, like that was like Revolutionaries was a lot of fun, man. Like I heard like Revolutionaries kind of led into First Strike. That's what set up that whole event, really, like at least the meat and potatoes of it. So I was really hoping that like after things kind of settled back down from the crossover event, we would see that team some more, because it was cool, man. It was cool watching Action Man and Mayday and GB Blackrock and Cup just kind of like going off on adventures and doing various things. Got some really cool like old school G.I. Joe backstory out of it too, like the adventure team. I don't know, man. I really liked Revolutionaries. I'm sad that it is not going to come back, or it hasn't come back yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked with the Visionaries versus Transformers, which I still got to get the first. What issue are they on? 3?
They're on 3. Yeah, that shit sucks. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I only have 2 more issues to go, so like, I mean, why not finish it out?
Now I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if the other 2 guys read issue 1 of it there yet. But
I think we'd already talked about it in the chat about Cup dying. Like, they killed off Cup just to kill him.
Yeah, it's just to me. If you notice that they've been killing off certain characters and lost life there too, and Optimus Prime, if you really think about it. And we're just talking about some popular characters.
I feel like honestly, that was the one like comic book death that I hated the most, just because like it was the reasoning behind it. It was just someone at IDW editorial was just like, hey, let's fucking kill this dude off just because. So
they killed Cup?
Yeah.
In a crossover book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Even that won't make me read it. Like, I just can't get into the crossover books.
Yeah, I don't like. That's another thing that's kept me from reading the book since they relaunched, because now they're kind of mixing it all, and it's like I don't want Rom forced into my Transformers. I don't want G.I. Joe forced into my Transformers books, and I think that's why I tuned out, because I think I did read the first couple of issues of each series, and I saw that interaction going on, and I kind of wasn't interested. So,
yeah, see, like, I'm opposite of that. Like, I love seeing the crossover and the interaction. Like, I feel like at some point they're gonna have to like talk, like they're gonna have to interact to some degree. It could probably be a little less on the nose, but
that's what I mean.
With
that's
how
what I mean. It seems horned in.
Yeah, with how they built everything, like the Micronauts are descendants of Micronus Prime, so like they're going to be part of that. Like they're just that's just the way they set it up.
I mean, call me old fashioned. Back in my day, crossover events were a special occasion. Like it was like a special thing. Like they didn't really like crossover events between different property, like GI Joe Transformers. I mean, not like. I mean, with Marvel, you always had like Spider-Man and Moon Knight, and
and the Thing,
Luke Cage, and the Thing going out for coffee and whatnot. But like, when you crossed over like your toy properties that were like distinctly separate as far as like every other facet of the brand, like GI Joe toys didn't interact with Transformers. Like on a play level,
women can vote, and it's a different world. So
yeah, see, but I can't get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not for everybody for sure.
But if you're a GI Joe fan, isn't that what we always wanted? Was Transformers versus GI Joe? If you really
I liked it in the separate books though, not like in the main storyline books where know what I'm saying, where I feel like they're shoehorning in the other characters, and then it's kind of like, oh, so you got to kind of buy the other GI Joe book to kind of get the full scope of what's going on.
Well,
you don't have to, but you know what I'm saying. But it's like I feel like I don't need it. Like leave the Transformers stuff like Transformers, and if you want to do the crossover, do that in a separate book like they've always done before.
Really and truly, like that's not how it is at all. It's just like there's some GI Joe characters that show up. And it's actually not really necessarily that. Like I want to say the only prominent GI Joe, like actual GI Joe character that's been in the Transformers book has been Flint, and that's only because like he's Marissa Fairborn's dad, and Marissa Fairborn I feel is more of a Transformers character than a GI Joe character. Just we're all like Marissa, she's been in the books for a while, like long before they even kind of dropped in the rest of the Joes.
Yeah,
like if you like. The only thing you really need to read GI Joe for is just to see what Skywarp's up to.
I just want to see. I just want to read that. That's it. I can care less about anything else. I mean, it's pretty interesting that they got him and Rock and Roll teaming up together.
That's the best. That's the only good part about that book. Like, if I'm being honest, that like the GI, like the Citizen Joe, it just wasn't an enjoyable read. Like I said earlier before we started recording, I've got the last issue of Scarlet Strike Force, and like I want to read it because it is like it did set up like a pretty interesting kind of plot thing, but it's not like it's nothing super crucial. So I mean, it is where but Micronauts, like I don't think. Like I still haven't read Micronauts, if I'm being honest. And Rom's another thing. Like Rom, his book, he was definitely off doing his own deal. Like the only time they really, like I want to say during the first strike event, they had just kind of said, "Oh, well, the Soul Star Order." They just kind of mentioned them offhandedly. But the crossover book of like Rom versus the Transformers, since it didn't happen in like current days, it was just something that happened in the past. Like it's something you could either take it or leave it. They make a few mentions of it, I want to say, in the Optimus Prime book or the Talal R1 book, one of the two. And like that was that. But the Optimus Prime book has been really solid, man. The like Greg, you were talking earlier about the Alpha Trion tells a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably probably the best standalone issue of that whole deal. Just a lot of universe building just within that. That shit was really cool.
All right, well, I'm gonna try to give them another go.
They did some cool stuff, like with the whole RC and Galvatron.
Yeah.
Like backstory. Like, I mean, if you're cool with the idea of Galvatron being his own thing, like, and some people aren't. I mean, these comic books are kind of like trigger points for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
Like some people just can't get past certain aspects of their preferred continuity.
because they
Megatron has been the best Megatron. Fight me.
because they
See,
want,
like,
want the all Autobot versus Decepticon war. That's what this whole thing is all about. They wanted to be, well, it's got to be G1. It's got to be Autobots versus Decepticons. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be that way.
I actually hate the Unicron trilogy, and that's Autobots versus Decepticons. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm fine with. Actually, those are the only three I don't like, and I can watch Armada to a certain point, but like Cybertron and Energon.
I find the Japanese dubs are a lot easier to get through because like they do change some of the stuff, like especially in Armada, like as far as story elements, like it's a lot more bearable watching like the subtitled Japanese versions of those three, but yeah, they're kind of hard to get through.
Yeah, the books. The books look alright. It's just another aspect was like the art. When they kind of restarted, like I was used to like Milne and Griffith, like you know what I'm saying. Like they were the artists for a long time, and I know people change and switch up, but those styles were the styles I was definitely like digging. And then like Lost Light, those first couple of issues, and it might even still be that way now. Like it just looked like it was a little kiddier, you know, like the style of it.
Lawrence is still the artist. Like I feel like he's doing a really good job though. Like I mean, it's hard for anyone I think to come in after Milne or Griffith or you know any of those other kind of like better like you know even books that like Livio's done. Like it's hard like readjusting getting you know someone else to come in after him.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Jack Lawrence has done a really good job with Lost Light. Like he still kept Milne's designs for the most part. It's not necessarily as clean, but I feel like his artwork fits the storytelling that Roberts is doing. Like in certain areas of those books do feel a little cartoony just because of like the attitude that's needed for that panel. But then there's like the serious parts, you know, where it's it's definitely a lot cleaner and kind of not necessarily grittier, but yeah, I definitely see what you're getting at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So has anyone watched Jessica Jones yet? Season 2?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
We're gonna start it as soon as we're done with this.
I watched episode 1 last night, and I like it better than like so far. Just from the first episode, I liked it better than the first episode of season 1. Like I remember falling asleep at several points through the first season of Jessica Jones.
Me too.
But this, like, I feel like there's a lot more of a mystery aspect to this one. You know, just from this first episode of season 2. So I'm hopeful.
I have it on good authority that someone we know hates it.
Dude, I was waiting on it. Like every time something new comes out, I'm like, oh, I wonder how much Dust. Like on a scale of like 1 to 10, how much does Dust not like this? Like on the negative scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like the first season though. I remember first season like vividly when that came out, and that ETR after he was fucking shitting on it. He shit on it so bad. It was funny.
Well, I mean, that was like, you know, I recently saw Black Panther finally. Like the two, like there was like the week that it came out, I was gonna go see it opening night, but I had to go. I got called into work. Then like the next week, I had a day kind of set aside, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna go see it. Got called into work. Finally, fucking got to sit down and watch it, and I really enjoyed it. But then like I just remember like seeing Dust, he was like, Black Panther, like really. So
I haven't seen it yet.
What?
No, I've been busy. Been busy working. I got that.
What? You don't got that Cody in your life? No Cody life for you?
No. Well, I can't. I'm not going to say it there on air because we're live. So But well, I've been working 2 jobs, gotta catch up on some stuff.
Yeah, man.
But, I will see it eventually.
It's good, dude. Like Killmonger, definitely like in my top 3 like movie villains.
Yeah, dude is a good actor.
Yeah, oh
He's
yeah.
a good actor.
See, that's the one thing about the movie. Like, I think him as a villain and a character is good in concept, but I thought like some of the portrayal was a little over the top, which I understand why I understand why it was that way and then why it seemed that way to me. But at the same time, like, I don't know.
I just thought he had like the most gangster fucking line at like just at the end of the movie.
Nah.
I thought that shit was awesome. That was baller shot
What
color.
did he say? Well, I don't want to spoil it for Walter, but he was like, "What was he like?" Nah. Oh, whatever. I can't remember exactly what he said. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like that sort of like. I think it was just that sort of like character, that sort of like I can't think of like you've got the people from Wakanda, and they're all like stoic and like mostly like calm and serious.
Yeah, and he was talking street. He was
and
street. He was talking
yeah,
real
exactly.
hood.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
like I think that was kind of the reason that it felt like his performance was a little hammy. And I don't think it was. I really personally, I don't think it was, and I don't think he was bad in the role. But I just think the way it juxtaposed in my ears, in my eyes, like I just think like something. It just didn't work in my head. Like my brain didn't click right. Now I've only seen it once.
Yeah,
I didn't go back and see it the second time. So
yeah, I only saw it that first time in the theater, but I thought it was good. I liked his performance and I liked the delivery because that's the shit I hear out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like it was so to me like the way he came across as real to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely.
Grown, like, dude, he wasn't fucking playing around, dude. Like, it was good, man. Like, I thought he did a damn good job.
Yeah.
In that role.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie,
and I like it brought like a certain level of like it brought different levels, I guess, to like Wakanda. It's not just one big unified thing. Like there's the different tribes. Like it brought in a lot of like aspect and backstory.
Yep.
Just behind the nation itself.
It was good to see the world building.
Exactly.
See a little bit more of that world. And see how advanced they are, but it still looked like you see the huts still, still very old school.
Yeah.
Like a mix of old and new.
And plus, for me, when people do things I don't like, I can just yell colonizer.
Dude,
that shit fucking fit me. That shit was funny as fuck. Don't sneak up on me, colonizer.
But so is that now like someone's gonna have to like educate me on Marvel characters, but is that the dude that ends up becoming the Red Hulk?
Who? Which one?
His
No, none of them are.
No,
I thought General Ross was the Red Hulk.
General Ross is the Red Hulk.
Okay. I didn't know if it was gonna be, because like the guy they got playing General Ross right now, he's a little too fucking old to be the Red Hulk when they decide to go that route.
Well, he'll be CG.
Oh, are you thinking about? You're thinking about Colonizer?
Yeah, Colonizer Ross.
No, that guy's just like he's kind of like comic relief in the actual Marvel comic books.
I was like, okay, I didn't know if he played into like if that was like them trying to sow some seeds as to like something that might happen,
No, it's Old Man Ross, Thunderbolt,
Old Man
or whatever his name is,
team leader of the Thunderbolts.
I got you.
He was Secretary Ross in Civil War, so I guess that's what he's.
He's Secretary.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State in Civil War.
Wow. Marvel, what have you done?
After all that shit he did in Incredible Hulk, unleashing the Abomination and all that bullshit, he's fucking got promoted to Secretary of State.
Hey, welcome to America.
That post-credit scene for that movie is one of my favorites, only because he's sitting there chain drinking Incredible Hulks. So, like, that was just the perfect scene. I did like the post-credit scenes for Black Panther. I think it was wise to have made that, even though it seemed kind of lame. I think it was wise to make that first one a post-credit scene and not the end of the movie.
Yeah, I do too.
And I kind of liked how the last one was a tease to another character.
The White Wolf.
Yeah, maybe implying that like that was kind of the direction that Bucky was going to go. But I still think like that's completely separate from the comics. But I know Captain America's going to die in the next couple of movies.
Yeah, and like it's to
but
me,
who's going to be the new one?
The logical progression would be Bucky.
It's gonna be Bucky.
It's got to be Bucky, man. Like if you look at the Winter Soldier and Civil War, they've given that dude so much shield time.
It's like, a story. Yep, it's a story. That's what they're leading to.
If you, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at like, you know, like there were so many like opportunities of Bucky just going ham with that fucking shield, you know. I feel like they've just been alluding to it.
Look at Falcon. The Falcon's been on that fucking Cap ass kiss train like ever since. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like, I mean, he's making references even in like Ant-Man where he's like, "Don't tell Cap." Like little things like that. Like I don't know. I would rather see Falcon be Captain America, to be honest. Like the comics.
It's gotta be Bucky.
Well, Bucky had gotten it first, and then he ended up going back to being the Winter Soldier. Like that's kind of like, you know, that's honestly that's the direction like I'm hoping that they'll take it. Like I'm hoping that they'll give us a movie or two of Bucky, and then, you know, kind of do what they've done, like pass it along to Sam Wilson. Because like I feel like eventually they could do, is, you know, if they get enough of these movies under their belt, or I say enough, they get even more, they could do a Thunderbolts movie with Bucky and the most recent iteration of the Thunderbolts.
Well, no, you have to go with the Masters of Evil first. They were disguised as the Thunderbolts. That would be the only way, with Zemo leading the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it would definitely be a few movies, but like I feel like eventually they could go back to that. They could go back to Bucky being the Winter Soldier. But
but the thing about Zemo is like the way they've done Zemo in the movies is like so far departed from the comic. Like I don't even think Zemo leading a team of any sort, or like him really being anything important, like is just kind of beyond the realm.
So
he's still alive, but
you know, I'm sure they've got plans for him. I think it would be foolish for us not to think that they have like plans for him. But like that kind of brings me to another thing. Like, you know, we were talking about how they could be alluding to Bucky being the White Wolf. And I like, you know, in the trailer we see him. He's got his metal arm back. But I know like a lot of these trailers have been misleading, especially recently. Like the Ragnarok trailer. You know, they didn't show the whole like eye patch thing, and the teaser trailer from SDCC was kind of different in that aspect too. So,
well, the toy reveals. I don't know if you've seen all the toy reveals for Infinity War, like between Hot Toys and Marvel Legends and whatever, but Thor doesn't have an eye patch.
And that's weird because he's definitely got it, you know.
So I'm wondering if he's going to get his eyeball back at some point.
He's just going to grow it back.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I got to mute for like probably 45 seconds. I'll be right back.
I guess I'll kind of touch on that. Like, there's been some speculation with Infinity War. Like, I'm so fucking excited for Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like, yeah, like I'm glad we stopped talking about that Transformers bullshit. But
About time.
like
Sorry.
there's speculation that like Thor is like reforging Mjolnir at some point in the movie. Like I do like that's like that needs to happen. Like he needs to get the hammer back.
Well, they showed the pictures, I think, from Entertainment Weekly. He was holding like a hammer. It looked like the Ultimates style hammer.
I wonder if that's his, because he's got that battle axe too that funnels lightning through it. And I can't remember what that weapon's called, but dude, if he is like, I personally, dude, I love the way that Ultimate Thor's Mjolnir looks.
Mm-hmm. It looks something like that. The one that was in the picture I saw, it looks not exactly like that, but it looks something like it.
Yeah, it's got the axe with like the big hammer end on the other side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor's cool and all, but let's get down to brass tacks here. So, Figuarts pre-orders went up the last week for Infinity War figures, and I saw that Spider-Man, and I was like, missed opportunity because something was missing. Then I saw the Hot Toys today, and he's got those legs. So I'm wondering if So we're gonna see fucking some not proper. I mean, he doesn't like a fucking red and gold gumball, but like we're gonna get some proper like Iron Spider. Hopefully.
Like I guess it's my turn to talk there about that.
Oh,
come on.
No! Whenever you introduce yourself like that into the conversation, you usually drop like something like pretty heavy. So that's why I said,
So what's the deal with Iron Spider-Man stuff, Walter?
The Iron Spider-Man stuff was back in Amazing. First appearance was Amazing 529. Going into Civil War. Tony Stark hooked him on up with this new suit. It was like after the other. After Peter Parker died, came back to life. It's been a while since I read it. He was fighting one of these inheritors. His name, God, I forgot. Anyway, he got the new suit that came on in with so much tech, which was unbelievable, to where the suit was red and gold, was able to fly. He had the spider things coming out of his back. In the books, they didn't fully show him use it all the way. He fought Captain America, and he got his ass whooped by Captain America. But the suit is pretty cool. I liked it.
Speaking of, to kind of go back as far as like the Infinity War designs, like I'm not really digging Cap's look in Infinity War. Like I'm hoping that like this first wave of toys is just like not a good indicator, but like the shield, and a lot of people are saying like it's just his forearm gauntlets, how they kind of unfold or whatever. But like I'm hoping he gets like at least a decent shield, and not some like little bitty fucking toothpick. You know what I mean? Like that, that's one thing that I'm kind of like, I don't know about.
His proper shield.
I'm sure Tony still like has, he dropped it off and just left it with him at the end of Civil War. So I'm sure at some point Tony will just toss it to him and be like, Cap, I'm sorry, fucking kiss me.
Technically, if you're looking at the comics, this is the cinematic version of Nomad. And not Captain America?
Yeah.
So
didn't know that.
Still, I want to say like still even in the comics, like he at least got like the frisbee disc.
Man. Well, I kept seeing all this stuff saying that they were posting pictures and saying that he had another Infinity Gauntlet, and like I still don't understand what that shit was about, because that went around for about a week and then it died out. So I don't know if people just thought that shield was some sort of gauntlet. I don't know, or the thing he's got on his arm.
Could be.
That shit comes out soon, doesn't it?
Dude, we're like 49 days, 49 or 50 days, something like that. Like they moved it up.
Right there.
No,
April 27th.
April 27th.
Oh,
so what comes out in May?
Deadpool 2.
Solo
and Solo.
And Deadpool 2. Yeah, that's my birthday weekend, so I got 2 movies to go to.
It comes out this year too.
Yeah, like, I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is like sometime in the summer, like June or July.
Yeah.
So what's the end of this month? There's a movie this month.
Pacific Rim.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember
There's
when
a
like
lot of
like
nerd
fucking
shit coming
summer
out.
blockbusters, but now it's like spring and summer and fall and
It's all
winter.
the time. It's all
Yeah.
the fucking time. There's something coming out.
And the
All the
Han
time.
Solo movie. Let's not forget that one as well.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how. Like, I was really expecting that one to come out in December, kind of like how they've always done it. So I was caught by surprise that the Han Solo movie came out in May, but it is
It's
what
cool.
it is.
Get to see some Star Wars earlier.
I hope it's as good as Rogue One. Like, Rogue One is like, that's the only Star Wars that I actively praise. So
I hope it's good, period.
yeah.
Just because of all the shit I've heard with the production and all that. Like, hopefully it turns out to be a good film.
Well, I liked Episode 8 too. To
Yeah.
be honest.
Aquaman comes out this year.
Yep.
Oh man, DC still doing live action movies?
December. That's their only movie this year for DC.
Did you see the Shazam set pics today?
Yeah.
That shit looks fucking.
Someone said that shit looks fake as fuck.
Looks like a television costume.
Yeah, that shit looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch parodying the Shazam movie.
I was like, they're
I
gonna
don't
probably
know.
add a lot of special effects to that shit.
Yeah, he's wearing a muscle suit, man. Like, what the fuck?
When is Captain Marvel gonna be out? Because I mean, we've seen some kind of set pics with that.
It'll probably
that
be
next year?
2019.
It'll be next year. Yeah, and New Mutants is supposed to come out this year too. I almost forgot
No,
about
that's
that.
next year. They pushed it back.
Oh, they pushed it back. Fuck them.
Yeah, they pushed it back. I don't know how you can make a horror movie out of New Mutants.
I think dude, I thought that was a good idea. If I'm being honest, like, I'm really hoping that what is it, like the Rise of the Phoenix or whatever? I'm hoping that shit, like,
Dark Phoenix. That's what it's going to be called.
yeah, I'm hoping that just doesn't happen. If I'm being honest, like,
yeah, I don't know how they're going to do Dark Phoenix when it should have been the Rise of the Phoenix first. I don't get that.
oh, because the Rise of the Phoenix happened for 5 minutes.
I have to admit, I was drinking. First of all, let me get it out of the way. I had been drinking for a little bit, and it was time. It was a Saturday night. It was probably 10 o'clock. I mean, it's getting close to like Saturday night. You stay up a little late, whatever. And Kit went to bed a little early because she had plans the next day. So I was sitting up, and First Class was on TV. I was like, well, I'm going to watch First Class. And then First Class was over. I was like, I'm going to watch Days of Future Past. Then I watched Apocalypse, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. And I went to bed. And I was just like, I just binge watched 9 hours worth of X-Men. Well, 8 hours worth of X-Men. But Apocalypse wasn't as bad. That was the second time I'd seen it, and it wasn't as bad. I mean, I guess I went in with lowered expectations, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, of the McAvoy X-Men movies, that's the one I like the most. I mean,
really?
Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not to say I didn't like First Class or I didn't like Days of Future Past, because I enjoyed both of those as well. But like, I really liked Apocalypse. I think they shoved 9 hours worth of shit into a 3-hour movie, and like that's always been an issue with the X-Men films is Fox won't make multi-parters out of story arcs that need to be multi-parters.
Yeah.
But overall, it was for me, it was enjoyable. I liked watching Apocalypse. I didn't care for the Ivan Ooze thing, just like everybody else, but it didn't bother me as much as everyone else. So.
The thing is, I don't think they want to leave you with a cliffhanger for 2 years, to wait for the next movie, because that's their schedule. They've been pumping those X-Men movies out every 2 years, pretty fast compared to some other flicks that come out.
Right.
Oh,
speaking. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Walter.
No, I was getting ready to say, what did you guys? What was you guys' thoughts on Logan?
I liked it. I thought it was thought it was well done. Like I thought it was a good way for them to show that, you know, it doesn't just have to be potty mouth Deadpool that gets an R-rated film. Like, you know, some of these other darker characters are well deserving of that for a proper kind of view.
Yeah, in the beginning, I thought they were throwing the F-bomb around too frequently, and I'm like, oh, that's why they wanted to make it rated R, so they could just keep saying "fuck you, fuck you, fuck, 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 fuck." Like I felt like it was a lot, but being able to see Wolverine, like, and the violence, like
Yeah.
that's the way he is, and you weren't able to see that in earlier films because they were always PG. And the way you saw him use his claws and his abilities and stuff like that in this one was raw and real, like the way it is in the comic book. So that's what I dug. You know,
That was my, like, you know, of course, like with "fuck" being the very first word in the film, like, I mean, it kind of set the tone for that, like for the language to be used. But yeah, like just seeing, like, they weren't afraid. Like whenever he put his claws through somebody's jaw, like they came out through the top of his head like that. That's the shit that I wanted to see in Wolverine, like in Wolverine in the movies and stuff.
Actually, let me tell you guys something. Half of that was off of what was that series called? Marvel Max. Some of it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
that Punisher series was fucking great.
yeah, it was the Punisher one. What he did to Wolverine was funny as hell. That was fucked up. But I got a question I want to ask Greg. You've been reading a lot of Batman, right?
I've been reading the newer Batman books. I started with oh shit, what's it called? What's the one with the one where he kills the Joker?
Death of the Family.
No. The one where they think the Joker is like some ancient, like, immortal.
Emperor Joker.
No, it's more recent than that.
It was it's more recent Snyder run. The Snyder.
It was right before. It was right before New 52.
Oh damn! I know it was R.I.P. Was it R.I.P.? Yeah, it was.
No, it's the one where shit, like like they have this whole thing and he ends up falling off a cliff and then they think he's dead and like he kind of like fell into a Lazarus pit or something like it, and then he comes back and he's like spouting off all this shit. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that is Legends of the Dark Knight, where he got shot by Ra's al Ghul.
No. It was the Joker I'm talking about, and then like Batman's going around trying to solve it, and like he goes like to the Court of Owls. Like I started with that. That was after the Riddler Joker War thing. And then
if the Court of Owls was involved, that's New 52.
Then maybe it was okay. Oh, because I read that and then I went back to the New 52. That's why I'm thinking it was before it. Mm. Yeah, so it was. I'll look it up. Give me a second. I'm getting a beverage and then my phone's about to die, so I'm gonna stick it on the charger and then I'll look it up. But I started that, like the more recent stuff, like within the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, if you ever get a chance, you got to read Vengeance of Bane, which was pretty good.
I thought they brought Bane back in the new run. Actually, not that long ago. It was only a few issues ago, and I thought that was kind of the way that story kind of let me down a little bit.
Aren't they doing a Conquest of Bane book right now?
I'm not sure.
There's a book coming out right now. I think it's called Conquest of Bane, by the original team, by the original creative team.
Yeah,
I am not a huge DC fan. I actually heard about the Batman story, the first one, like that I recently read, referenced in like a article, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I got to read that. and then I kind of followed, like, they referenced events in that one, and I was like, that sounds interesting too. So I went back and like I read that book, and then it just got me going to where like I'm on issue 42 of, I think it's Batman Volume 4, the one that started in 2016. This is the storyline where he's engaged to Catwoman.
Yeah. That's the current run.
Yeah, I actually just read the newest issue that came out yesterday, a little bit earlier, where Poison Ivy's taking over the world.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, it's interesting. The War of Jokes and Riddles. That's what I was trying to think of. That's not the Joker book, but that's the story that I went to after I read the Joker. Like the story I'm talking about with the Joker, I think is right after the War of Jokes and Riddles.
The Kite Man. That was some funny shit.
Hell yeah.
That was some funny shit. I
love that shit.
I was just telling these guys, man. Oh, you don't even know. They had Elmer Fudd meet Batman. It was like,
oh, I know about. I'm familiar with that. I've read the first issue. I hadn't read the whole thing.
Oh God.
But
that Batman cover is cool. The one that just came out, Hunted by the Justice League. Looks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's 2 covers for this
and the Poison
issue,
Ivy one
and then
too.
I think
one is a variant.
I think the way they've been doing it is like new issue, like, so the issue came out yesterday, and there's A and B, and then I think in 2 weeks you'll see a C and D cover. I think they're kind of on that Walking Dead thing where they do a reprint 2 weeks later with different covers.
Walking Dead.
But I might be wrong.
Image is doing that now.
Yeah, well, yeah, because no, they're not on 2 weeks. They're on like a month or something. Yeah, because whenever, like, every Wednesday, I just look up. I go on like a site and I look up comics that released that day, so I know what I need to read. And I'll get all excited because I'll be like, "Oh, Walking Dead came out. Are they bi-weekly right now?" And then I'll like go and I'm like, "Oh wait, never mind. That was issue from like last month."
How many issues of Walking Dead do you have?
Oh, why? How many do I have? Oh, well, I have a couple. I have the first couple of hardcovers.
Oh,
but I read most of my books online, and then when I can get the hardcovers or the collected editions at a good price, like my IDW books, I read them online, and then I buy the books like when I can get a deal on like half.com or Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
I feel like the
hardcover
collection is really the way to read those books. Like, A, it's nice. Like, they display nice. And B, it's, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like you're always going to be 2 or 3 years behind, but display wise, I think it's worth it getting the hardcovers.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But that kind of brings me to a question. There's a lot of folks that are thinking like by 2019, like that IDW won't have Transformers anymore. They won't have the Hasbro stuff. It'll be well. I mean, no. It's not like that's not a fact. That's what a lot of people are thinking. And like that makes me wonder like what the like will we still get those hardcovers? Like that would be my only concern. Like as long as everything wrapped up nice and neat, story wise, and it wasn't left like Dreamwave.
Oh no! Don't go there. Don't go
like
there.
just fucking as long as we can get the rest of those hardcovers, I think I'd be cool. Like I think I would be fine with, Marvel taking back Transformers and G.I. Joe and Rom, and like that way we could get like Rom in the movieverse. Like I want to say the Guardians of the Galaxy director, like he wanted to try to get Rom, for the movie, but they weren't able to.
To answer to your question, and I said, well, you heard me say this there before. I think it will happen. We just don't know when. What it's going to be like is what that deal that went down between Dark Horse Dark Horse that had Star Wars. So
yeah,
I eventually think it's going to happen. I don't know when, but I think it will happen.
And I mean, I don't see numbers, but you know, of course, I don't really look for them either. But like the way I hear it is like that the book sales are down. Like
If you're not cracking the top 100 in Diamond, yeah, the top 100 in Diamond, that means the books are not doing pretty well. That means that you're all comic book shop. Your order, what is it? Probably like 2 to 3 books. Because the majority of, well, I can't say majority. Some comic book readers won't read it. Okay, take for example, like you had all Hell Megatron. That sold. That sold big time.
mm-hmm.
You know, they're gonna order. They'll take a chance between 5 to 10 copies. And those 5 to 10 copies sold out. Now the chances of a variant being in there are pretty high. You know, but if it was with Marvel, then yeah, it would sell. It would sell like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, like, but that's, you know, regardless where, if, how, when, whatever it, you know, it does. I mean, because like they're not going to stay with IDW forever. You know, I feel like IDW has probably done the best by it. I feel, but
I think Marvel is backing them in a way if you really think about it.
It's been 12 years, right, since they've had the license?
Yeah, it's been 12 years, and I think Marvel, to me, is backing them. That's what I'm starting to really think.
yeah.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I just want the hardcovers to keep coming.
Well, just real quick, I don't want to change the subject. Just real quick before I forget, the book I was referring to is Endgame.
Ah, yes.
And then after Endgame, I went back to A Death in the Family, and that was what kicked off my New 52 Batman reading. But anyway, sorry. I just didn't want to forget. Once I remembered.
The Snyder Capullo run was pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that was really good.
Want to know something there too, and come to think about it, since we mentioned Dreamwave, and I'm going to put this out here to the audience here live. I met Pat Lee. To me personally, pretty cool dude. But for what he
buy
did,
you a car?
I wish. But for what he did, that was stupid. Okay, as an artist, yes, as artists, they drew Transformers pretty well. I shouldn't say pretty well. They damn well did a good job.
Yeah, Alex Milne did a great job. Still doing
their art.
Yeah, but on a stupidity level, I think right now Dreamwave would not have done what they did. I think they would be at the top of the industry right now. Personally, that's what I'm thinking. I think they'll be number one, ahead of Marvel and DC.
What? Just based off the Transformers franchise? It's not big enough, bro.
Yeah,
it's not gonna overtake Marvel and DC with all those properties.
I don't think so either.
Well, not like that, but I would say sales wise, because when they came on out, it broke records. You know, it cracked the Diamond 100, and it was like number one.
Well, that was because of the artwork. That was, you know, who was it? Pat Lee that was drawing the books at the time. He was hot, and it was a Generation 1 revival, like at that time, you know. But then eventually the novelty wears off, as with anything, you know. So I don't think it's something that could have been sustained over the long run.
Yeah,
those Dreamwave was at the reins when I started getting back into like Transformers, like. I mean, like I was consuming more. I mean, I was always in. Like I had the DVDs of the G1 cartoon and stuff, but like I was consuming more media related to the brand, and that was when Dreamwave, like those Dreamwave, I can't remember what they're called, like the character encyclopedias, like the character bio books. You know what I'm talking about?
More than meets the eye profiles.
Is that what they were? Like the books that like some of the third-party companies were taking their pictures from, and like they were a little off. Yeah, like they're a little different, and like the Abominus. Like people are like, "Why is that Abominus?" So like that.
I want to say like that. Like that's something
whatever company it was.
club to like keep around because they did that in the club magazines. They kept doing it.
Can I tell you a personal story involving drugs?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Why not?
I remember when I first met Kit, and her now ex-husband. We were hanging out and like we were doing coke. Well, I was doing coke. I don't know if they were or not. But I remember I had just gotten one of those books. No, it was a GI Joe book. It wasn't. It was one of the GI Joe books they did, not the Transformers books. And I remember being so fucked up. I just stood in the living room with a captive audience that was all fucked up too. And I just gave like basically an entire presentation on Transformers and GI Joe. And I will never forget that shit. I was like 19 years old, 20 years old maybe. And I just remember I bought that book that day, and then I decided to buy like a gram of cocaine. And I was just fucking high as shit. Fucking like, so yeah, and then Cobra Law, and some people say, and I will never forget that shit. I will never forget that shit. Like, at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it, and then I was embarrassed about it for a long time. Like, you know, you always think about shit you did, like, that doesn't even matter, like, 20 years ago or whatever. But, like, now it's humorous to me. Because, like, what started into a discussion became, like, a class. Like, I was teaching a class.
I was about to say,
everyone else was like, what's he talking about?
Oh, I was about to say, did anybody else that was listening to you, did they give a shit about what you were talking about?
Well, because I was talking to the one guy. Because he was, like, he was into all that shit. Like, he was one of the first people. Okay. He was one of the first people I encountered, like, with a prominent displayed collection. And so, like, you know, like, it was just like nerd, or back and forth, you know, like, conversation. But we were talking, and like a crowd kind of like everybody kind of like sat around to listen. And I was like a college professor talking about fucking Cobra Law. This shit fucking is funny to me now thinking about it. But drugs are bad, kids. Drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only done weed. That's it. No hard shit. Yeah.
Careful. That's the devil's lettuce.
Yep.
But no, like I want a college professor that does coke and teaches me about nerd stuff.
If he can produce a paycheck, I'll probably find you somebody.
Yeah, he got you covered.
Did any of you guys watch Legion?
I watched the first 4 episodes, maybe, and I had the rest on my DVR, and I just never finished it. Oh no, was it on cable? Was it on cable or was it on a streaming service?
It was on cable.
Okay, so the other ones are on the DVR. We just haven't watched them because so much shit came out at the same time.
Yeah, season 2. They you know, FX has announced season 2, and I'm looking forward to it, especially like with how FX is able to use potty language now at a certain time at night. Like, and they weren't back then. Like, and I want to say like that started with American Horror Story, especially like this last season. Like I just was not accustomed to 9 o'clock at night getting to hear the word "fuck" on TV, and it was amazing.
Well, when you're done, I'll tell you a little something about that.
Okay, cool. But anyway, so season 2, like they're teasing it. Like I'm really looking forward to it because I watched all of season 1 like as it aired, and it was for me it was enjoyable. I feel like Gifted, which came on like Fox, I still think that's like a better story. Like I'm really looking forward to them picking up Gifted again, but Legion was good. So
yeah, I only saw a couple episodes of Legion, and the Gifted I saw up to episode 8, so I gotta catch up on both of them.
Legion is one of those, man. Like I feel like Legion should have been a streaming service deal because like that's one of those deals where I remember like watching it, I'd have to go back and watch the previous weeks, like just to kind of
Refresh.
reacquaint myself with what was going on, because like that's one of those like it really needs to be fresh on the brain.
It's trippy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Trippy show.
Yeah, I the Legion or The Gifted. That was another one that I watched. Like, we watched a couple episodes, and then there was just so much stuff going on. I got lost in the shuffle. I mean, it's all on the DVR, like, so we can watch it. You know,
I want to say like with Gifted, it was like because I was watching Lucifer and Gifted, and then like I watch all that shit through Hulu. So and I think Runaways was coming on too from Hulu, which was that was a Hulu thing. So like I was watching that. Like my nights were very busy. Just grilling shit at like 2:00 in the morning and watching comic book shows, basically.
nice.
Greg, what was the deal you had to say about
Oh, okay. So I did some research because I always assumed you couldn't say shit on television. You know what I mean? Like they made a big deal with that South Park episode, and like they made a big deal like it was like the first time ever, and like I just always kind of like assumed that to be the case. After the whole like the shithole countries debacle,
yeah.
that they were talking about, and like I'd see all these posts, like people were sharing and making themselves, mostly sharing from like bullshit, like conservative sites about it, and about how do they get away with this, blah blah blah. It's it's against the president. Bleh. So I looked it up. The FCC regulations actually only really apply to like what is a network TV, like or broadcast TV, like your local channels, like the shit you can pick up on an antenna
over the air.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to cable.
Really?
Apparently, well, like a lot of it. I like a lot of the stuff that people think as being like the norm, because it's just carried over because it was the norm back in the 70s. Now that you have cable, and then there's like the obscenity thing. But the obscenity thing, even at that point, it only covers like explicit sexual things and things like that. But if they're covering the news, they can say things like like they can say things that people would deem offensive as long as it's a news related thing, like shit and whatever. Like if they had to say it, they could say it. But I don't think it applies to the cable networks at all. It's just considered to be like a thing. And now there are some regulations where you're not supposed to do it before a certain time.
Right.
But like the rules are a lot laxer than I thought they were.
Yeah, well, I mean, like especially like watching shows on FX for a while, like especially like Sons of Anarchy. Like I knew the whole shit thing was okay amongst several other language usage, but like watching it was like I said, like this is the only season of American Horror Story that I caught as it aired, and like I watched it at work no less, and like they're just dropping F-bombs, and I was like, when did they start allowing this? Like it was I guess like FX is kind of pioneering with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think typically after 8 or 9 o'clock, it's considered to be, or no, maybe it's 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, when does American Horror Story come on?
Well, 9 o'clock my time, so 10 o'clock your time.
Okay, so maybe it's 9 o'clock. I think after 9 o'clock, like in your whatever locale, I think it's
they could loosen up the language.
I think it's considered to be like, it's okay. It's not something a lot of people run with, but I don't think there's a regulation on it.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, when they had NYPD Blue back on in the day on ABC, they used to say shit on there.
Well, when did that come on?
That was like 10
Came
p.m.
on that came on at 7 or 8 o'clock. That was on Tuesdays.
NBC is typically a network, like a local.
That's a network TV station. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that must be where the regulation applies after 10 o'clock. That must be that regulation then. Yeah, because I found conflicting information about it, and a lot of stuff was unclear because a lot of people interpreted obscenity laws differently. Even though like there's only one real interpretation, it was just really hard to find it. Like one like actual representation or interpretation, I should say, of the law.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so hard to find it under all the opinion that like I just kind of gave up because I got the answer I needed regarding the CNN and the Fox News and all that stuff.
I know, and I know we had kind of talked about it the last time we recorded, like with The Walking Dead and Negan's different takes and all that. And like watching Breaking Bad. Like I never watched Breaking Bad when it came on TV, but I watched it on Netflix, and there were like a few times per season where they would drop the F-bomb. And like I just started season 2 of Better Call Saul, or maybe it was either at the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2, and like Saul called that other lawyer a pig fucker, and I was like,
where were you watching that? Because I don't remember seeing that on television.
What, Better Call Saul?
That's on AMC.
Yeah,
no, I mean the episode in question.
Netflix.
Okay, so that might be different though.
No, because like remember when we had to talk about like Negan's potty mouth? I went back and watched that season of Walking Dead on Netflix, and they had the edited version.
Again, yeah. Oh, they did that. Oh, well, I don't know then.
So he didn't. Yeah, so Negan wasn't saying fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck. He was it was like the TV version. And
yeah, I don't know how they do that stuff. Like I don't understand. I think it really is just like a case by case.
Yeah.
And they have to think about like the people that can access it, and like I guess with Better Call Saul, if you say pig fucker in one episode, like that's a little bit different than having like a major character in the story arc walking around going, "You were fucking the fucking fucker fucks, and the fucking fucker fuck," because any 6-year-old can turn on Netflix. So I mean, I think it might just be like a case by case. Yeah. Like not every 6-year-old can walk into Walmart and buy like an explicit DVD set or Blu-ray set. But
maybe that is the case. But I don't like. There's some really subjective shit on Netflix. So like I don't know. I don't think that's it either. I mean,
I don't know.
So
I don't understand. I don't care. Like at this point, like I'm a 30, almost 36-year-old man. Like I'm not like I can buy cigarettes if I wanted to, which I don't because I don't smoke. I can buy alcohol. I can rent. I can go see an R-rated movie. I can buy a mature video game. I don't give a fuck. But I don't have kids. I don't give a fuck about any of those laws. I don't care. They don't affect me. So I don't understand them. Like it's whatever. It's fine. Do you know what I got in my hand right now, Dakota?
What you got in your hand right now?
Well, in one of my hands, it is I'd say a 10-inch long.
Peener.
Well, hold on. If I open it, I'd say a 18-inch long, oversized switchblade knife with a Confederate flag and an eagle on it. And I'm not lying. I'll send you a picture. The reason I have it is because Kit saw it at the antique mall and was like, "Gag gif." Because she just saw the eagle, so I don't think she noticed the Confederate flag. Which wouldn't be my...
like as soon as she said, I was like, now why does this dude think that like Confederate flags just apply to me?
But my point is, I'm gonna take a picture of it on my knee for scale, in my boxer shorts. But I'm gonna send it to you in the information creep. You can use this picture though if you want. I don't care. But my point is, fuck it, Merca. Like, I mean, if I had kids, I wouldn't want my kids watching that shit. But at the same time, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an adult. Like, I can handle it, so I'll watch it.
This shit's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I just don't want you to think I was lying, because I'm definitely not lying. Yeah, like all those laws, like they're just weird to me because like you can watch like video of actual wars taking place, but you can't watch. Like you can watch at the 5 o'clock news, you can watch video of actual soldiers shooting in a war zone, but you can't see a fictional movie about war until after 10 o'clock on the same network. You know what I mean? Like it's weird to me. I mean, I guess I understand. Like you've got to have like kind of loosey goosey, like open laws regarding reporting actual news.
Yeah, and they can't necessarily censor news, especially if it's like live news or like something to that effect. You know, because then how would we get to hear people telling presidents and vice presidents to go fuck themselves?
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird, like all the different restrictions there. So now I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned for the children's. Like, and once again, it's not going to affect me because I'm in the back half of my 30s. But the whole thing with like Trump's comments, and I'm not trying to make it a political thing, but I'm setting the stage about how it's laughable. Where it's like, well, maybe it's maybe video games and movies are to blame for gun violence in schools, and maybe there should be a rating system like there's not already one. Yeah, so, man. Like, if they try to make like a more stricter system, like that's fine, but I'm just worried. Like, I don't know. I'm worried the wrong age groups are going to be affected. Like in Ohio, they just recently changed the. I don't smoke. I used to smoke. Smoking is disgusting. Don't smoke, kids. But they recently voted to change the age from 18 to 21.
Wait a minute.
So, like, all the kids that were 18 years old and could buy all the cigarettes they wanted, all of a sudden couldn't buy them anymore. And, like, I think that's fucked up. Like, I think those kids should have been grandfathered in. And I'm worried they're going to do that with video games as well. And like I just think that's fucked up to take something like that from like you can have it for 3 months and now you can't have it anymore for another 3 years.
Yeah.
But, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, what were you saying, Walter?
I want to say something, not trying to make it into political or anything. But yet what you just said, you want to make it into an age 21. But yet, you want 18-year-olds to join the military.
Exactly. I've always said that.
Yeah, something's not right. That's just hypocrisy. Once again,
you can join the military. You can potentially be drafted at 18, but you can't buy a fucking beer or a bottle of wine until you're 21.
But you're being asked to serve.
I mean, like, and that doesn't make any sense because, like, dude, I started fucking drinking at 16, so, like, that shit doesn't work. Like, I mean, I was just, like, drinking and smoking, if I'm being honest, but, you know, like, those of us who wish to do bad, we will do bad.
We got Hank Jr. on the podcast tonight.
Like that's all I'm saying, man. Like those of us like who like in our teen years wanted to be delinquents, we're gonna be fucking delinquents.
Exactly.
Like it's like there's no stopping it. Like Mothers Against Drunk Driving isn't gonna stop the shit. Like, you know, granted, I like don't drive drunk for real though. That shit's not good. But like, you know, like I never drove drunk. I never did dumb shit like other than like on private property. I did a bunch of dumb shit on private property, but like, I don't know. It's, you know, it's just dumb. Don't take away
granted,
our freedom.
like me, you probably didn't have your shit together enough to have a car in the first place back then. So at least I didn't.
Well, I want to say I
didn't start driving until I was 28.
No, like I actually did, man. I dropped out of high school at 16, but I got my good enough diploma, so it's not like I was a complete fucking loser. But very shortly after that, I was basically borrowing my parents' vehicles in order to save up enough money to buy my own car. And I had my own car bought before I was right before I turned 17. So I had some of my shit together. And like I don't have all of my shit together now either, to be fair, but
Well, yeah, for what it's worth, like when I was fucking up like really bad in my life, my earlier years, I knew I was fucking up. And so like I knew like what lines to cross and what lines to not cross. Like
yeah,
I knew I
exactly.
wasn't responsible enough to like do certain things, so I didn't try to do them. And I think that served me well in the long run.
Like whenever like I stopped doing drugs the night before I turned 18. Just because like I was like, well, I know like if I'm doing this shit now, like I can get away with it. But like after I turn 18, that's it. Like I get caught doing this shit, it's over. So like that's whenever I stopped doing all that. But like for the most part, I was wild as hell when I was like
Wild as
16 or
hell,
17.
man. So, Jose, how much crack did you smoke today? You're being awfully quiet. Is he
Jose,
there?
I don't know. He probably
He was like, "Yeah, this is not what I signed up for."
he was just
Is he gone? Really?
I get he may have stepped away for a moment.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think anything popped up in the chat, but
He told his wife, he's like, "Hey, look, I got to get away from these motherfuckers."
they're drumming up old things. So
I've never done no crack, only weed and drink. That's it.
I never put anything in my vein or up my butthole.
Me neither. Hell no. But that shit was crazy.
Like the nose and the lungs are pretty much like up for anything,
No, I've seen people hit the pipe, man. I saw their lips turn brown. I'm like, no.
Oh no, I ain't never smoked meth.
I seen that shit. I'm like,
Oh, it turned brown from scar tissue because they were hitting a hot pipe over and over again, and it was burning their lips.
Yeah.
I mean, I read that on the internet one time.
Yeah, me too. I seen it.
So,
Yeah.
anybody reading Walking Dead?
not me.
I'm watching
Currently?
Walking Dead.
Oh.
I would, dude, honestly, like with that, I wouldn't know where to pick up. Like as far as like I know the TV and the comics are different, but like that's not one of those things where I'd want to start at number one because I feel like I'd be rehashing a bunch of stuff.
No, you really wouldn't be. There's so
somewhat
much
familiar with.
variation.
Oh, it is. I didn't know
There's
if it
so
was only
much
slight
variation in the
variation.
story. No. Like, there's a basic, like, there's like Atlanta camp, Woodbury, or Atlanta camp, Herschel's Farm, Woodbury, prison, Herschel's Farm again, on the road to Alexandria, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's basic plot structure, but like the shit that goes down like is completely different. Starting from like issue 3 or 4, like it's drastically different as far as like characters and things. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what? So like, what's going on now?
In the books?
Yeah.
Well, they're in Ohio. Well, there's a group in Ohio. You haven't really seen much from the Hometown Boys in the last couple issues. It's focusing on Michonne, some new characters, some C-lister new characters, and then a super new character they picked up in Pittsburgh. And they're in Ohio, and they found a new group that's got like 20,000 people. And they actually have a town. Like, they have a town, not just like a little tiny like neighborhood or whatever. They actually have like a decent sized area with organized sports, and they have concerts and shit.
And And it's completely like Walker free.
Yeah, and we don't know much about it. But the first issue, they're on the third issue of a 6-issue story arc. In the first issue, it ends. They have this wall, and they're like, "Yeah, this is our remembrance wall." And people post flyers and pictures of people they lost, and people looking for people, and blah blah blah. And Michonne walks up to it, and she's all quiet, and everybody's like, "What? What?" And it's a flyer, and it's a picture of Michonne from before the apocalypse, and it says, "Has anyone seen my mom, Michonne?"
Oh, wow.
And she starts breaking down. Then the next issue, they meet the governor, the new governor of this town. And it's a woman, and they have these like soldiers in armor or whatever. And she's like, she's playing it cool. She's playing it cool, fine. She's like, "Look, my daughter's here. Like, is my daughter alive?" And the governor woman's like, "Yeah, she works at the bakery." So they take her to the bakery, and they have this emotional reunion, and they hug and they cry. And then this past issue, it's pretty much focusing on her at this point.
Right.
In this past issue, like she takes her to her apartment or wherever she lives, and she's telling the story about like how they survived and how her sister didn't make it. Like they got away, and then they met some people in like Kentucky that said they take care of them, but then they tried to rape them. And she's like, "But I killed them all, Mom. I killed them all." And she started crying. And Michonne's like, "You'd be surprised what we could do when we have to, blah, blah, blah." And then at the very end of the book, there's a mutiny afoot in this new community. And you find on the last panel, there's a mutiny afoot. Because it's The Walking Dead. There's always a mutiny afoot.
Yeah.
So
I've got a
The
question.
Walking Dead.
In like is like, so has Negan died in the comics yet?
Nope.
No shit. So he's still kicking around.
Yeah, I hope to see him again. Like they kind of gave him a send off, like what could be a send off, but I hope to see him again. But yeah, he's not dead. He wanted to be dead. He wanted to die. But it didn't happen. And then he was like whistling Dixie. He was like, "New lease on life." And like, I hope he's not out of the book, because he's actually been like the best part of the book, in my opinion, since well, I won't say since issue 100, because like there were other good parts, but like since the whole resolution of All Out War. Like that storyline, like he's been one of my favorite parts of the book.
I was gonna say like he's my
they did a time jump.
He's my favorite part of the TV show. So like that's one of those deals. Like if I were to ever pick up the book, I'd like for him to still be part of the book. You know, like his character.
Yeah, they well in the book, and I mean it's spoilers, I guess, for some people. Like if you watch the TV show and don't read the book, then I guess it's not, because like they've veered dramatically from the book. But they do a time jump of like 4 or 5 years after the resolution of this current storyline that the show's on. Mm-hmm. And they've like rebuilt Alexandria, and they have windmills and industry and shit. And Negan's in a jail cell in a basement of a house. Right. And they kind of foreshadowed that in the TV show with Morgan's cell. And he's got a big old beard. Rick's got an old man beard. But Carl's another big player in the comics. So,
not in the TV show anymore, he isn't.
But not exactly, not the TV show. Because that's how you find out Negan's still alive. Because Carl walks down some steps and starts talking to someone in the shadows. And he's like, "Hey, he's like just talking about his day. Like you would talk to your dad. Or you would talk to your brother." And he's like, "Yeah, there's a girl, and I kind of like her, but you know, us and some of the guys went over, and she showed us her breasts. And like, I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, I don't think I'm into her anymore." And then like there's word bubbles coming out of the shadows, and it's like it's all right to see a titty or something like that. And it's like, and he's like, "Can I ask you a question, Carl? Do you still want to kill me?" And then it cuts to Carl's face, and it's like, I still do, Negan. And then you see Negan in the cell with the big old beard, and like that's like the first issue after the war. Like,
Okay.
yeah, and then like he's in the cell and he gets out and he runs around and then he ends up like kind of like taking one for the team, and he's like, there's a new enemy, and he's like leads the battle, and he kind of earns his freedom at that point. And then Maggie goes after him, and he's like, just shoot me. I can't, make up for what I did to you. And she decides not to shoot him. And then he's like, whistling Dixie, going on my way. But yeah, like he's seriously been my favorite part of the story, which is why I'm really critical of like some of the ways they portray him on the show. Because Jeffrey D. Morgan has like one character, and his one character is walk around and thrust your crotch out towards the camera and talk in like the southern accent, and like that's pretty much every character he plays. So like I hope if they do keep him around in the show, like I hope he like gains some depth.
And like that's what kind of has me. That's what kind of has me like worried a little bit. From last week's episode of Walking Dead, where like we see there's a little trouble in paradise for the saviors. What's that dude's name? I don't even know his name. But the guy that went and killed all the junk people. Anyways, so he like
Simon.
What was the name? Oh, I guess he said he was gonna be a minute. Anyways, so like we see that, and then we see like Rick's talking to him. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna kill you."
It's Simon. I'm using the toilet right now. I'm peeing, so I didn't want to like stay unmuted. Yeah, it's Simon, he is not a comic book character. He's a Grand Theft Auto character.
He's a Grand
Theft Auto 4. No, that Stephen Ogg, who's the actor, was a character in Grand Theft Auto, and Simon is pretty much like his character in Grand Theft Auto, like to a T.
Oh no shit! Okay. It's been a while since you said it was
none of those people are comic characters. The only ones in the show that were in the comic right now is Negan and Dwight.
No shit.
So Simon, the guy that got, what was the dude that died last week?
Fat Joe? No. There's Skinny Joey and Fat Joey.
No, the guy that died last week, the one that the kid stabbed in the throat.
Him. Yeah, I know who. Yeah, I don't know his name, but
yeah, he's not a character in the books either. Like they added like some extra characters, kind of padded out a little bit.
Yeah. But anyways,
and
like
the garbage people aren't in the comic either, just so you know.
Yeah, they're not in the TV show anymore either.
Yeah,
I remember my buddy Mike. He's the dude that reads The Walking Dead kind of like locally. He had told me, he goes, I don't even know who the fuck those people are. But like yeah, that makes me wonder, like, with Carl not there anymore, like I'm pretty sure they're gonna kill him off in the TV show. And like I hope they don't. Like I hope he ends up being a mainstay. But Jesus, how many seasons? We're in what, season 8?
Wait, with the kill of who?
I'm sure the TV show is going to kill off Negan.
Oh, I don't know, because they foreshadowed that, and there were pictures that surfaced after filming of this season was done, or like at the very end of it at like a party, and Negan had a big old man beard just like Rick.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know if that was just because like they.
Well, so did Simon. So did Stephen Ogg though. He had one too, so I don't know if like they were doing like the beard challenge or something.
Well, I mean, it could have been that, or it could have been, like in Carl's vision of the future.
Yeah.
You know,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have. That's where like they probably filmed all that at the end. You know, because
I don't think they're. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was
interrupted
just gonna
you.
say because Rick and Negan had old man beards and like at the very end
That's
of
right, I
Carl's
forgot about
Perfect
that.
Vision. So
I don't think they're gonna kill him off. I honestly think they'll at least keep like that because they try to keep with the bare bones at least of the plot lines, and like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I mean,
dude, he's
for what it's
he's
worth,
working that show right now. Like,
yeah, and for what it's worth, I mean, he's a pretty big. Like, look at all the other characters they've killed off, like the villain characters and whatever. Like, you haven't really seen like a. I'm not going to say he's like a top tier actor, but like, you know, he's not a the Bob Stuckey or whatever, like,
yeah,
or he's not Sequisha, whatever, like Star Trek. Like, I mean, he's okay. I'm hearing my echo again.
I don't know. I'm not hearing your echo.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like one of the Death Troopers from Rogue One. That's what my echo sounds like. That's kind of cool. If it shows on the recording, let's leave it. But he's a pretty decent name to have attached to the show.
Yeah.
So I can't see them killing him off in the show.
Yeah, but like what I was gonna say was, you know, like the show, man, it's we're in season right now. Are we in season 7 or season 8?
Season 8.
Okay, like dude, like for a TV show to go on that long, it's like unless it's the fucking Simpsons, like it doesn't happen very often. So like I'm wondering like how much longer they feel the shelf life of this series has. You know. Like,
Well, it's renewed for season 9.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like.
But see, here's the other thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it for 10 or 15 seasons. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we don't even know how long the comic book's gonna go. Like, you know, they could cancel the comic book.
That's true too.
But the girl that plays Maggie has signed a contract to do a pilot for a TV show, like another show, because she doesn't have a because they couldn't lock a contract in. They couldn't negotiate one.
Really?
So like they might kill her off, and she's another major character from the book.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a major character. She's like one of the leaders.
See, like I don't know, like me, if I were an actor and actress, like I would want that. Like I would look at like The Walking Dead and I would see security, especially, you know, if you've been on it for that long.
Yeah, but she wanted more money than what they wanted to give her.
Oh yeah, well she got fucking greedy. Then she got fucking greedy, I guess.
Well, if she got greedy, I mean, the thing that's plagued that show has been lawsuits. I mean, even Kirkman has a lawsuit with AMC right now.
Oh,
and he's
really?
showing up on Talking Dead. Yeah, it's about money because I think AMC's like getting stingy and they're not wanting to pay what they should.
Oh yeah. Huh.
I don't know that. Yeah, everybody's got a lawsuit with them.
That's fucking crazy. That's probably the real reason Bryan Cranston doesn't want to come back and do Walter White.
That's sad.
Did you hear? This isn't comic book related, but did you hear their New Line? I think New Line Cinema got the Sopranos guy to do a prequel movie.
A prequel movie to like Sopranos?
Yeah, because he was like, I don't think I could pick the show up again, but I could do a prequel. Like, I have ideas for a prequel, and I just read that today. Like, they hired him to write a screenplay for a prequel for a Sopranos movie set in the '60s that would deal with his like Tony Soprano's parents and Junior and like the old heads. Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat to read. There wasn't a lot of information, obviously, but it was just kind of an announcement. But, just speaking of like cable drama.
Yeah.
You know.
Jose, are you back with us yet? I guess not.
He did.
Yeah,
He got 8.
I didn't know if he wanted to weigh in on any of this here Walking Dead stuff. I'm hoping, man. Like these last 2 episodes. Well, not necessarily these last 2. Like, the one that they came back with. With the whole Carl dying thing. That took forever. Yeah, Coral. That like I just felt like that was redundant to waste the whole episode. I mean, like I get why they did it. Like me personally, I could have not watched it.
Wait, which one? Which one? The one where he died, or the one afterwards?
The one where like he actually died. Like
See,
the one where
that's I thought like something like that would have been super cheesy, but like I actually thought that was a good episode. Like considering the way that that show does business now. Like I actually thought that was a pretty good episode. I thought the next one was kind of cheesy, like the one that aired Sunday.
The one with the garbage people or whatever. Where
I mean it wasn't bad, but I felt like it was kind of like over padded.
I watch TV shows because I want to see something like happen. I want to see progression, noticeable progression. And I really just didn't get that out of these last 2 episodes. Not like I did with the first half of the season. The first half of the season, shit was getting done, and I liked it. But I'm hoping like next week's will again like keep progressing things, like pick the speed back up. I don't want them to lose the momentum.
Yeah.
So we'll see, I guess. But anyone else got anything else they wanted to talk about, address, or whatever?
Personally,
about 2 Power of the Prime figures there today. That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There he is. That's what got him.
Yeah.
Oh, don't start that yawning. Please don't. Don't start yawning.
Jose, did you go to sleep, dude?
No, I was listening to you guys. Why? Was I not answering?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like Jose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dude, he low key pulled a dust. He just doesn't want us to know. But yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else you guys wanted to talk about, then I guess this would be a good place to end it. We had a nice lengthy episode again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said an hour, and you fuckers got me for. Well, first you started sneak recording, and then you got me for like 2 hours. Yeah.
Yep. Got to pay him overtime, Dakota.
I'll be honest, man. Chris, Bricks on the Dollar, like he got me onto the sneak recording game because he used to do that shit for Stasis Lock, where we'd just be talking about whatever, and he'd hit record without anyone knowing it. So I was like, all right, let's just do that. That and like missing a whole bunch of good shit from the last time we recorded. I was like, you know what? As soon as people get to talking, I'm just gonna hit record. We're gonna go for it.
Yeah, I looked at my phone and saw that shit. I was like, you motherfucker.
So, anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in and listening to us talk. As always, you can find us where you're finding us, and you can check out all the other awesome shows on the Cool Table Network. Jose, where can people find you at, man?
All over social media, Harrican BX, and check out Rama Collectors, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Thanks, guys. It was fun.
And Walter?
You can check me out on Facebook. I'm usually there in the groups. I'm also on PS4, Big Walt Baby 75, and also on
Big Walt Baby.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what
we're talking video game tags now.
Greg, where can people find you, man?
I am on Shattercast and Cut. I'm in the Facebook groups. I am on Instagram. Even though I don't actually post things, but for some reason I get notifications every 5 minutes that I never check. And I am on PS4 and Xbox One, Greg for Mercy. I don't play a whole lot, but when I get into a game, I get into a game. So cash me outside.
How about that?
How about
Normally,
that?
we would be joined by our buddy Spiros, but he couldn't make it tonight. So you can check Spiros out. He's
Uber.com?
Uber,
Lyft.com?
occasionally on Toy Detox. Me, I'm Primal Sabbath. That's who I am everywhere. You can find me on this podcast, Information Creep. You can find me on Stasis Log, and you can find me on Off the Runner. So we got plenty of podcasts and bullshit to do. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.
Have a good night.